Dear all, welcome to the webcast that will talk about Portaltech Advisory Services, and in particular today we will be starting with the presentation about Portaltech Project Delivery Services. First of all, I'd like to introduce the agenda for today's webcast. We will briefly introduce Portaltech and Reply and how the two work and exist together. We will talk a little bit about the introduction of the services and the reason that we've come up with these services and believe in their good future. Then we will talk about project delivery, offering in particular and in a bit more detail, as this is the focus of our session today. We'll briefly touch on customer experience. However, there will be another webcast that will talk about customer experience, advisory services that we have also developed. Again, we'll talk briefly on the RFP management as a service that we would also like to provide to our customers. And of course, we will wrap up with a Contact Us section where you will have a chance to connect with us through our website, through our LinkedIn channel, and through our YouTube. Before we start, please join us on our journey. Please subscribe to our channel. Please follow us on LinkedIn. And we are very keen to hear your comments, your questions, and of course, get in touch directly if you like, and we'd be more than happy to have a conversation. So to start things off, who are Portaltech Reply? We are part of the Reply Group. Reply Group is a living network of over 120 companies. We employ over 9,000 employees worldwide. As you can see, we are quite widely spread across the globe, and we have grown predominantly organically and through acquisition of new business in majority of our countries, and we very much follow our customers. So we set up businesses when we see opportunity, when we gain certain customers. Our main focus is to be very close to our customers and be really customer centric, and we focus on system integration services. We're driven by design, technology, and data and innovation are at the core of our business, as well as building trustworthy, value-driven relationships with our customer. In terms of our services, we span a wide range of industries, as well as wide range of technologies. So each company within Reply Group is narrowly specialized in its own technology or own set of services that it provides. But as a network of companies, as a global network of companies, we are very flexible, agile, we stay close to our customers, and we are able to provide any combination of knowledge and services that the entire network has in its possession. Today, we are very excited to present our advisory offering. It has been in the works for about a year with us, and it comes off the back of observation that we have made over the course of last 20 years or so that we've been working with various size clients, but predominantly enterprise-grade clients, that very often it's not just about the technology, it's also very much about the implementation. And so we decided that we would like to come up with an offering that is technology agnostic and also independent of our system integration services and our technical advisory services, that can be lifted and shifted to any kind of player, be that a dynamic emerging direct-to-consumer player or a really seasoned industry leader who wants that extra layer of assurance, extra layer of security and risk mitigation to any program or project that they're embarking to run. So let's dive into a bit more detail. We'd like to bring a little bit of desk research to your attention. It's mainly by independent, it is very much by independent bodies out there. And we want to just zoom in a little bit on the reasons why certain projects succeed or fail. Gartner estimates that 40 to 60% of IT projects fail in one way or the other. Now, fail doesn't mean a complete failure, but it's rather considered as a failure if the project does not deliver on the timeline that it had initially set out to, or significantly overruns the budget, or potentially quality issues are observed, etc. So it's not necessarily a failed project is not necessarily considered as a failed project that is not delivered, but a project that did not live up to the expectations of its stakeholders or could not hold to the timeline or budget. Now, Gartner has identified a number of reasons for such failure, but we've picked up the top three, which they identified as poor planning and execution, lack of communication and collaboration, and of course, scope creep and lack of change management. Further, Project Management Institute, for those of you who maybe aren't unfamiliar with this organization, Project Management Institute is based in US, and the focus of their organization is to keep track of the project management industry and consolidate the so-called Project Management Body of Knowledge manual, which effectively is, in essence, it is everything you need to know about project management, and that's starting from smallest agency projects and finishing with large construction projects, which need to be very precise. And they basically consolidate all the best practices and all the methodologies that are out there. They cater for waterfall as well as agile approaches. And so they also issue PMI Pulse of the Profession report, which comes out annually. So according to that report, again, the most likely reasons for project failure is a lack of executive support, unclear objectives, and scope creep, as you can see. And lastly, Forrester also does a very similar research, which is a bit more tailored towards the customer experience side of our services. But again, lack of clarity around product vision, difficult stakeholders, difficult managing expectation, and scope creep. So building on this understanding, if we continue to the overview of our past experience, right? If we are collating the reasons for which feed into project failure potentially, and we zoom in on those reasons that can be easily addressed by implementing good project management or good project delivery infrastructure for a company, then we can look at poor planning and execution, lack of communication and collaboration, difficulty managing stakeholder expectations, and lack of executive support and scope creep as key drivers. And of course, such areas of concern, such issues are direct responsibility of project management as a role and as a function. And that's why we feel that it is really important to come up with a framework and with a set of services that will help any customer address such difficulties and such issues. As you can see from the right, we've already helped a range of our customers with such projects and such large-scale implementations and such challenges. You can see that there is quite a bit of gravitas in the transport sector. As you can see, P&O Ferries, EasyJet, Emirates, Aegean. But also we worked with retail sector. These are not all our logos, by the way. Delhaize, Nisbets, to name a few, and we are also working with one of the world's largest global pharmas, and we are under NDA, so unable to disclose their name, but we have had a very strong pipeline of projects with them over the course of last nearly 3 years now, and have put a number of territories live, and also delivered a series of evolution implementations for them. And we probably can pride ourselves on saying that in 95% of our projects, we deliver on time and on budget, as we tend to work on a fixed price model. So we've taken all the learnings from delivering for such clients over the last 20 years, and we have consolidated into Portaltech Hybrid Agile Delivery Framework. It's basically a hybrid agile framework, which takes into account all the key aspects of delivery as a function and project management as a function. And it comes with a very tangible, actionable set of practices that we can apply to make sure that your project, your strategic project, your important initiative is delivered on time, on budget, and in line with expectations of your key stakeholders. So let's look a little bit closer at our project delivery offering. As mentioned, it is based on a delivery track record of over 20 years of experience of Portaltech operating in the market. It is a set of pragmatic best practices. It is not something etherical. It's not something theoretical. It's really a set of actionable methods and techniques based on hybrid, agile, and waterfall project management frameworks. It's a combination of two, because we tend to see that our larger clients require this kind of approaches, right? We do want to embrace agile philosophy sort of on the ground level of our project, right? We really want our teams to be engaged, to be motivated, to have the buy-in in what we're doing, right? This is what we stand for. While at the top, we still want to maintain that control over the initiative that a waterfall approach offers. And of course, the ultimate goal for this initiative and the ultimate goal for these services is to reduce delivery risk profile, reduce cost, and increase time efficiency. Therefore, working on implementation risk, shortening time to market, while improving the quality of the solution and quality of the delivery. So in order to do that, we have developed and consolidated the Portaltech Hybrid Agile Delivery Framework. Portaltech Hybrid Agile Delivery Framework started its life as a framework or set of processes that we initially developed and delivered for one of our key clients about 7 years ago. It was a very large program where we had to develop a large-scale, scalable and enterprise-grade application. We had about 3 teams working on that application, 3 agile teams working on that application. We had a 4th team that was working on a support application for a customer service portal. So we really scaled up our business at the time. In parallel, we had another very large multimedia client that we were working with. So, this approach and this framework has really originated at a time where we had to scale our business quite quickly to a very large number of teams, while maintaining integrity, while maintaining quality, maintaining speed, velocity, and engagement of our staff, and so on. Eventually, this framework had become the foundation for Agile for large-scale IT organizations that have been adopted more widely by Reply as an organization globally, and is now part of our methodology toolkit within the group. But we have decided to go even a step further. And in the last couple of years, we have completed some project management, PMI, Project Management Institute, project management practitioner certifications in our organization. And we have actually transposed our methodologies and techniques onto this framework, making sure that not only it is a very comprehensive consolidation of our experience, but it is also a watertight methodology and framework from perspective of a very respectable body in the market, Project Management Institute, and all of the areas and processes that are outlined in Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide are covered in our framework as well. So on the screen right now, you see the 7 key areas that we look at as standard. And as you can see, they're also then broken down by the phase of the project. And of course, if you wanted to have a more in-depth understanding of our framework, then we would be more than happy to jump on a call and run you through it. The ultimate goal of this is to make sure that absolutely nothing is missed when we are planning your project, when we're running your project, when we are delivering your project, preparing for go live, quality assurance, risk management, stakeholder engagement, communication. All of these aspects are taken into account, and we have appropriate toolkits, templates, and previous experience of doing this to make sure that we can tailor that to specific needs of your particular initiative, thereby de-risking it and shortening time to implementation, time to go live. So within this offering, we anticipate that different levels of engagement that we potentially have with our customer off the back of that. And so we've come up with the two tiers which offer kind of different degrees of our involvement, as well as the last tier, which is more a strategic project program and project management and capex management assistance, which we'll talk about in a bit. But the simplest approach and the lightest touch approach is we would be able to come in and provide delivery governance, project delivery governance. This is where we would delegate a few of our experienced resources to work with you on a weekly basis, most likely, to make sure that all the processes are set up, all the communication is set up, the right best practices are being followed. We could recommend best practice techniques and methodologies which have worked for us in the past. All of that could be integrated in your project setup, and then further, the project management, business analysis, implementation, and even quality assurance could be run by a third party, although we would prefer to also do a degree of quality assurance, at least on the adherence to the best practices and methodologies that we recommend, to make sure that our service is effective. And then the tier Y is a more extensive version of that. Obviously, the governance. So we would delegate a couple of leads, experienced people from our side who would set up the governance for the project. But then also we would be able to supply you as project management specialist and a business analysis specialist, because we feel that these two areas are of particular importance when it comes to delivering a project, when it comes to planning a project, collecting requirements, making sure that requirements are clear, that they're properly documented, and then controlling the project as it runs, and making sure the velocity is kept up, engagement of the team is kept up, quality assurance are upheld, and also appropriate risk management process is in place and is executed regularly to make sure that risk profile of the project overall is reduced, and therefore chance of overrun on either budget or timeline or undermet expectations from your stakeholders are mitigated. Again, system implementation, solution implementation can be done by the third party. And again, quality assurance is a gray area where we can have a discussion. We would like to make sure that our services are effective at the other end of the pipeline. But of course, we can understand that this responsibility could be shared between us and a third party. And tier Z in this context is the strategic project and capex management, and this is more in the context of assisting the leadership in your organization with allocation of their funds. If, for example, on a recurring basis, quarterly or annual basis, there is a budget to be spent on your IT initiatives, then we would be able to come in and help you set up a process which would be business case or business value based or driven process that would assess every investment, that would also take into consideration the strategic goals of your business or particular business unit overall. So this is about building correctly allocated IT capex that would match the strategic targets of your business, and helping you on the basis of our experience with multitude of previous enterprise clients, helping you really set the priorities right, and also measure your projects, be able to identify the right KPIs for every project, for every initiative, be able to better measure business value, make it more tangible, and allocate your resources in line with what is likely to drive most business value for you. So that's the offering. Again, just to touch quickly on the commercials. So the way that we see the project delivery advisory services is a kind of subscription-based model. So it will be resources embedded in your project that will be having regular touch points with your team or potentially embedded in your team. And therefore, it is going to be at various levels. It's going to be a subscription-based model where there's a monthly running cost that would be aligned to the level of the resource that you will require for your initiatives. In parallel to this, and of course, this can be combined or potentially maybe not, because we will not be impartial in this scenario, is the RFP management model. So as part of our advisory services, we also offer this piece of work, and this is really around organizing an RFP or an RFI, and helping you define the scope and objectives of your project or your initiative, assistance with cross-functional project team formation, creation of RFP documentation, shortlisting of potential vendors, pre-bid conferences, vendor evaluations, and advice around contract negotiations. So this is a standalone service if you feel that your project delivery capabilities are on track, but perhaps you need help organizing an RFP, RFI process, then again, this is also available with Portaltech Reply. So in case you would like to get in touch, right now on the screen, there are QR codes for our website, our LinkedIn page, and our YouTube channel. We would be really appreciative to hear back from you, what you think about these new services that we are launching. If you have any suggestions or you would like to have any kind of clarifications, you also see mobile phone of Jason, who is a partner with our organization, and myself. Please call me Kai. I don't use my full name. And otherwise, you feel free to also comment on YouTube and LinkedIn, subscribe to our pages. We would be more than happy if you come with us on this journey. And of course, we would be delighted to have an opportunity to secure better peace of mind for you, for your strategically important initiatives and projects for your organization. And please stay tuned. There will be more of these webcasts coming out in the next weeks, and we would love to have you with us. Thank you very much. Have a great day ahead.